Hi guys, welcome to the Factogram. In today's video, we shall discuss a few interesting facts about the human brain. To get the content of the video more clear, please do watch the video till the end without skipping. First of all, to give you a little background on just what the brain does. We the humans have the largest brains of any mammal relative to the body size. It essentially serves as the body's command center. The brain regulates the nervous system, processes the information from the sensory organs, and sends the same information to the muscles of the body. Different areas of the brain are responsible for processing and carrying out different tasks. But in a very real sense, all the disparate parts work together to keep us functioning, protected, prepared, and alive. Now let's go through a few of the interesting facts about the brain. Chronic stress causes the brain to shrink. Stress takes a toll on the body, mind, and spirit. And the regular chronic stress can actually cause the brain to shrink in size. Release of the stress hormone called cortisol may decrease the size and effective function of the brain's neurons. PTSD and other issues of unresolved trauma often shrink the hippocampus, which is the area of the brain which forms new memories. The neurons in the prefrontal cortex also shrink in response to major life stresses. Brain can't feel the pain. It may be the height of the irony, but the brain is the control center that processes the pain, telling us when something is wrong or when we need to pay the closer attention to a particular part of the body. Yet the brain itself is not capable of feeling the pain because it has no pain receptors. But what about the headaches? Surely we feel the pain within a headache. As anyone who suffers from migraines can tell you, actually, the headache pain does not come from the brain itself. It comes from the layers of tissues that shield the brain and the skull. Brain can power a dim light bulb. Despite all the remarkable things the brain does, it has a fair low energy output. The average brain could power a dim light bulb of about 20 watts. One expert noted that the energy consumed by the cortex is only enough to power 1% of neurons at any time. So if anyone ever calls you a dim bulb, that may not be much of a put down. It's all about the wattage our brains are capable of giving off. Brain is soft like butter. Upon the first glance, you might assume that the brain is firm and rubbery. In reality, it's more malleable than that. Much more malleable, almost the consistency of soft butter or gel. It's so soft that even just a collision with the inside of your skull can give you the brain damage. It will set off the catastrophic swelling that can crush your brain inside the skull. An unsettling and creepy thought to be sure, but further proof that we all need to take a proactive role in fortifying and safeguarding our brains. Brain is mainly fat. When you see the image of a brain, you will likely notice all the ridges and gentle peaks and valleys. This appearance gives the impression that the brain is more like a well-sculpted muscle than a big blob of fat. But it really is a big blob of fat and not a muscle at all. The human brain is comprised of almost 60% fat, and it requires essential fatty acids from our diets in order to function. Studies have found that ingesting lower levels of fatty acids from foods impair the brain's ability to perform effectively and can even lead to certain brain diseases. Brain needs cholesterol to survive. We've been programmed to think of cholesterol as a bad thing, but the link between cholesterol and the health is one that has come under close scrutiny in recent years. One area where we know cholesterol is actually a good thing is in the relationship between fat and the brain. First of all, 25% of the cholesterol in your body is used by the brain, where according to Dr. David Perlmutter, it aids in membrane function, acts as an antioxidant, and serves as a raw material from which we are able to make things like progesterone, estrogen, cortisol, testosterone, and even the vitamin D. Also, research has revealed that in older adults, those with higher cholesterol levels had better overall memory function. Those with lower cholesterol had a higher risk of depression and death. Certain foods really are the brain foods. Specific foods have been shown to boost the brain power and support better brain function. Adult brains still have the capacity to make new neurons, which are the foundations of learning, memory, and how our brains and bodies respond to stress. To foster the development of new neurons, incorporating brain-friendly foods into your diet can be a big help. Among them, a few of them are walnuts, eggs, salmon, avocados, and of course the champagne as well. Also, get plenty of sleep and regular aerobic exercise, and don't rely completely on the champagne. Brain is not fully formed until 25. Our brains don't stop forming once we reach the puberty or hit our 18th birthday. The brain is still developing well into our 20s. This raises all sorts of interesting questions about what constitutes a mature brain and how biologically responsible a younger person is for immature or irresponsible behavior. In the words of Mental Health Day, the fact that our brains are not developed until the mid-20s means that the legal adults for whom those aged 18 plus are allowed to make adult decisions without fully mature brains. So how can a brain incapable of fully matured thought and reason be expected to behave in a fully matured way? That's the question that could have huge ramifications for our society, impacting everything from parenting to a law enforcement. Use more of your brain than you might think. There is a commonly accepted theory that we use only 10% of our brains. This often cited statistic, however, this couldn't be more wrong. It turns out that we use virtually every part of the brain and that most of the brain is active almost all the time. When we are active and engaged in something, we are actually utilizing just about every part of the brain. When we are at rest, thinking, or in quiet contemplation, our brains may not be as active as they would be during the other tasks, but they are still working harder. That 10% would hard have you believe. Brain requires a lot of your body's energy. Your brain may not generate much energy, but it still requires a lot of energy to function. In fact, it utilizes more energy than any other organ in the body. Some figures suggest as much as 20% of the body's energy resources are used to power the brain. Most of that energy goes to helping neurons to fire the signals, as well as to the healthy maintenance of the brain cells. This is especially true for children whose brains are growing and developing and processing the world around them at astounding rates. Brain development typically slows down during puberty. Exercise gives the brain a beneficial workout. We all know that exercise is good for the body, but it can improve and sustain brain health as well. Specifically, it can benefit memory and thinking skills. This finding underscores not only how important the regular aerobic exercise is, but how it can help safeguard our brains from other deadly forms of dementia. Brain weighs around 3 pounds. The average brain is 140 millimeters wide and 167 meters long. While these numbers may only show just how small our brains are physically, we still have the largest brains in relation to body size compared to any other mammal. And of course, our brains are tasked with all the functions vital to living. So they may be small, but they are indeed fierce. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe, like and share.